I want to thank Leslie Lee III for his patience, because the conversation just kind of got rich there with Sean. But Leslie, the room, you have the link. I want you to join the room so we could talk about Bernie Made Me White. Bernie Made Me White went. Listen, let me tell you something. When there's an organic conversation that needs to be had, there's nobody has to try to make it go viral. Yesterday, we had a conversation on Twitter about how CNN and some other people were erasing the diversity in Hawaii, and it just hit us like a ton of bricks. Like, are you kidding us? Are you really going to say that Hawaii is predominantly white or not diverse, or like one other person said, not significantly diverse? And we started having this conversation, and lo and behold, I got involved in the conversation, and Leslie, who's been on the show before, he got involved in the conversation, and Leslie just dropped the realest hashtag ever. Bernie Made Me White. And you know what? He's already here. Leslie, what's going on, man? How's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. What time is it there in Tokyo?
Oh, it's 11 a.m.
11 a.m. All right, 11 a.m. So it's a good time. I'm the one that's late. I got to go to bed, but you're in good time. So listen, I know how the hashtag started, but I want you to tell everyone why the hashtag started and what it meant to you.
All right. Well, I think all of your viewers know what people of color who support Bernie Sanders have been going through. Mm-hmm. They've not been talked about. Our voices have not been in the media at all. And this was just a continuation of that, where I think you said it, I said it, a few other people said it. Even before Hawaii went to Sanders, we said that, you know, even though Hawaii is the least white state in the country, somehow people will turn it into, they will discount it and push the narrative that Bernie Sanders only wins white states. Right. Bernie Sanders only connects with white people. And lo and behold, someone actually tweeted out that, well, Hawaii isn't quite diverse enough. It's not significantly diverse. And it was just absurd. And I think the conversation, I want to get his name right, was started by Jenk and Misael Franco. He was talking about it too. And y'all were going back and forth, and then I just came in with a joke just to put, us, how ridiculous it was. Like, Bernie has made me white, so I'm just gonna start binge watching Friends, because no matter what happens, all his supporters are gonna be turned into white folks.
Yeah, and dude, we've been saying that for a while. Like, part of me is like, this is how social media works, and I want to thank you, because your hashtag summarized every damn thing I've been saying for the last 6 months about this race, because there has been a complete erasure of people of color, particularly Black people who support Bernie Sanders. But in this case, it's Asian people who support Bernie Sanders. It's Hispanic people who support Bernie Sanders. It's Native Americans that support Bernie Sanders. And then there's just complete erasure for the purposes of forwarding this idea that Bernie Sanders only does good with Bernie bros, right? And somebody else came out after your hashtag and said, Bernie made me a male, or Bernie made me straight, as though the only people who could support Bernie Sanders are straight white men. And this has been a very targeted agenda, in my opinion, right? We can see it. It's been a targeted agenda to perpetuate this narrative, to keep people of color from listening to him without the jaded lens of he has a race problem. And we've been talking about that ad nauseum on this show. And you come around with a hashtag that unleashed holy hell on Twitter and gave everybody an opportunity for their voice to be heard. And I think that's so powerful, that now it's not just one person trying to convince you that this is what's been going on. Leslie, you created a hashtag, you were joking, but you started something and gave so many people that I didn't even know about an opportunity to say, we've been erased. We are not white. We are not male. We are not straight. We're not, we are our individual selves, and we've been erased, and we support Bernie Sanders, dude. So listen, first thing I got to do is I want to applaud you for that brilliance and really giving a way for people's voice and stories to be heard. So in those stories that you've heard, like, what stood out to you as some of the highlights of Bernie Made Me White?
Well, first I want to back up a little bit. When I made the tweet, I knew it would be trending by the morning because I know everyone has experienced that. And
Yeah.
I know people would want to crack jokes while exposing this real thing they've experienced. What highlighted to me is, I have to be delicate in saying this, but you know, black voters have been kind of privileged in this election. We've been highlighted and talked endlessly about by the media, but Asian voters have been ignored. Hispanic voters have only been talked about, you know, in the context of maybe Donald Trump, you know, and Arab American voters have been ignored. So that's one thing I noticed. Like, many of the people using the hashtag weren't black, you know, and that tweet you put up on the screen, even after the hashtag, even after the fact, you know, apparently diversity only means black people, and that's really offensive and unfortunate, especially, you know, since it's Democrats doing
And this is, to be sure, this is a guy who works for the Hillary Clinton campaign, saying, did the Sanders camp just really call Hawaii the most diverse state in the country? It's 2.5% black. Listen, I appreciate the attention that they're giving us as African Americans. I appreciate it's a little nauseating, but in reality, like, there's so, you know, over 45 and black is not the definition of diversity.
Absolutely. And I forget to mention, Native American voices have been ignored. Bernie Sanders did a lot of outreach with Native American leaders, but that was ignored, you know, completely by the media. And so it's bad for a couple of reasons, just because it's dirty politics, but it's also erasing the progressive nature of all these groups. We have things in common, but we've been disconnected by media who pretends that we don't exist. That's what's most important about the hashtag, is that it's helped bring us all together and connect us to each other, because we'll never have our voices connected on mainstream media.
No. And you know, that was something that I saw happening yesterday that really made my jaw drop, because I saw what diversity really looked like by the people who felt like their diversity had been erased. Right. You know, we saw so many different variations of color that really supported Bernie Sanders. They're progressive and they had the same experiences that we have. And then you have this, and I'm going to choose my words wisely with regard to Joan Walsh. You have somebody like Joan Walsh, who, well, however you pronounce her name, who is, in my opinion, the epitome of privilege, in terms of access, in terms of platform, in terms of media privilege, in terms of, you know, just so many ways that she's privileged. Really try to come and excuse me on language, but try to come and shit on your hashtag. Tell me about that exchange.
Well, first I want to say I actually really like Joan Walsh, and I really respect her and like her. And even after this election, I do. I think she, as far as the offenders go of the erasure class, she's the one I will still deal with after this election. But basically, I had to tell. She tweeted about the hashtag, kind of said it was silly or whatever, and I had to tell her, like, you are part of the reason for this hashtag, like, you personally. Because there was a moment where she was on, I think, MSNBC or CNN, and there was a Bernie rally. They were showing a video, and she was talking about how white, you know, the rally was, just repeating the narrative as everyone does. And while she was talking, there was a Viva Bernie sign with a bunch of different people holding Viva Bernie signs, and then a Sikh man introduced Bernie. No one's talking about who the Sikhs are voting for this election, you know, but Bernie Sanders has a Sikh man up there introducing him, and she, in that very moment, erased him, and she went on Twitter and had to apologize for it. You would think that if you experienced that moment as a journalist where you're so embarrassed you have to apologize, you would kind of say, you know what, I'm going to sit back on this whole thing about, you know, Bernie Sanders supporters all being white. But she didn't. She went for it, and she kept going for it. Even after I started talking to her, I saw that she was retweeting a guy who was telling her that Hawaii was 40% white, which is ridiculous. It wasn't even 40% white in that Aloha movie, you know? So, you know, you remember that movie. It wasn't 40% white in that movie. So no, and she was retweeting this guy because he was supporting this narrative that she had already bought into and was spreading. And again, and just right there, she erased 15% of the Hawaiian population with that one tweet.
Right. Right. And you know what? I think, okay, so you're a better man than me. I really, this election has really been about like any fondness that I had of people who are in establishment positions that kind of just got thrown out to the wolves for me. Cause I'm like, if you are playing particular games to the detriment of progressivism and then to the detriment of the Black community, I ain't got much time for you in the future. So you're a good man. I'm petty. You're a good man. And we'll leave it there.
Oh.
But I think part of the conversation, part of the problem is that Twitter is very territorial. Right? Twitter's like damn high school. And it's like you came on the scene with this hashtag and really just changed the entire narrative, even if it was for like 48 hours, right? And it's still, the conversation is still going on. People are writing articles about it. You came in and blindsided Black Twitter, you blindsided progressive Twitter, and everyone who really has this hierarchy of, before you can speak, you have to get permission from me, or you got to get the okay from me. And I think some of the backlash you face is some of the same stuff that I see on a regular basis of people like, who did this? Where did this come from? And how did, this is absurd. And you have people going on their diatribes about how ridiculous your hashtag was, all the while completely missing the reality of how beautiful the hashtag was because of all the diversity that they try to make Hillary Clinton own. They try to make her the sole beneficiary of the recipient of this diversity. All of this diversity in the Bernie Sanders Feel the Burn movement, but they didn't care because you stepped on their toes on Twitter. Well, what are your thoughts, man?
I hadn't really thought about it exactly like that. But yeah, that was a lot of pushback I got was like, where did this come from? Who is this? I'm like, it's Twitter. I didn't know that we had,
had to
ask permission. One person like Al Giordano, who is, trying to check everybody on behalf of Clinton, he came up at me and said, well, the tone deafness of this hashtag is that, a lot of Hispanic people identify as white. I'm like, wait, what? On the U.S. Census. Yeah. I'm like, that's because it's a government form, and all U.S. government forms, if you ever filled out one, put Hispanic as something separate from race. So that's why, first of all, and second of all, there were thousands of Hispanic people tweeting under this hashtag. Are they all tone deaf too? Do they not understand whether they're white or not? Should they have asked the census first or your permission first for whether they can be a person of color or not? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just
that's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, man. I don't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
And I got in a conversation with Propane Jane a bit, and I'm not going to diss Propane Jane. I like her because she hasn't blocked me. I have been blocked for talking, a lot nicer to people, a lot more prominent. So I gotta give Propane Jane her respect. I come at her sideways, and she don't block me. She engages. Yeah. So I gotta respect Propane Jane.
However,
her response was basically just the same, sputtering Clinton Black woke slay queen Clinton talking points, which are I got receipts for this, I got receipts for that. Like, I started the hashtag. You ain't got no receipts for me. You can't just use these terms and Black Twitter lingo and erase all these people who are part of Black Twitter from the conversation because it disagrees with a candidate you support for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. You put that so many things. Okay, so no, I do want to give, there's certain people I do want to give shout outs to, even though I disagree with them like shit, like on a regular basis. The Propane Jane is one that I have to give a shout out to because she doesn't block, or at least she hasn't blocked me. I'll even give Shock. Like, I don't know the cat. I don't know if that's a man or a woman. I don't know who the hell that is. But as much as I come for them, they haven't blocked me. And I respect people who are bad enough to engage and not get their feelings butt hurt and blocked. Because just around my way, we've been following each other for a while. I don't block people. Let's have this conversation. We're going to disagree. We probably agree on more than we disagree on. But right now, this thing with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton is a pivotal disagreement. And I think people need to understand that we have every bit of right to fight vigorously for what we believe in by virtue of Bernie Sanders. And it's not, I think that's a difference between us and Hillary Clinton supporters. We're not fighting so hard for Bernie Sanders. We're fighting hard because of what he's fighting for on our behalf. And so I just wanted to, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, because when you said Propane Jane, she does say some stuff that I like. And then just, you know, whenever she talks about Bernie Sanders and how great Hillary Clinton is, I'm like, oh God, please just hush. But you're right. She doesn't block people. So a lot of respect to her for that. But the territorialness of, and I just made up that word, I think, of Twitter. I got to commend you, man, because you broke that wall. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like when I saw it, I was a second person to tweet it. I wasn't the first person. You were the first person, but I knew when I saw it that no, actually, let me stop lying. I didn't know that it was going to be as big as it got. But you knew, like I knew, that there were a lot of people that had been erased, and you gave voice to them. And so, Leslie, thank you so much for that hashtag, because I think that there's a lot of people, and we could see by virtue of as many people that participated, that feel as though the media has intentionally erased them. And unintentionally, but for me, it's been intentional erasure. There are a lot of diverse people supporting Bernie Sanders, and this narrative of him just being a Bernie bro is total hogwash, if I could pull that word out of my ass. Leslie, I'm gonna give you the last word on Bernie Made Me White, and then tell everybody how to get up with you.
Yeah, I just think the important thing to remember about this hashtag is that it's not about Bernie Sanders. It's not really about the election. It's about us being able to connect with each other in ways, us progressives of a diverse background, to connect with each other and stay in touch with each other. You know, shows like yours, shows like Tim Black, shows like The Same Progressive, and bigger shows like, you know, Democracy Now!, The Majority Report. The DNC isn't going to come along and bring us all together. They're not interested in that. They want to crush us underfoot. They don't like any of us. They want our votes, but other than that, they don't want us, and they don't really think that they need us. So we're going to have to be in this together. We're going to have to organize together across all these different, you know, platforms, all these different tables in the lunchroom. You know, all the weird kids are going to have to team up and take down the rich jobs, and that's how it's going to. You must
have saw my tweet earlier, man, because this is exactly what it is. It's high school, and you have the people. I know I said I'd give you the last word. I'm still going to give you the last word, but you opened up another can. You have people who want our vote, who want us to put them in power, and at the same time want to tell us to shut up and know our place. And I'm telling you, just like in high school, I had absolutely no regard for teachers. So why do you think I'm gonna have any regard for the jocks or for the in crowd or the popular girl or the you know, no, there are no gatekeepers in this thing. There are no people that we have to get permission from. There's nobody that we have to go and kiss the ring of to get our voices heard. And Leslie, you came through like a bat out of hell and shut that shit down with Bernie Made Me White. So thank you for that. Last word, and how do we get up with you?
And thank you. I think you just said it all right there. You can follow me on Twitter at Tokyo Vampires. Fair warning, I tweeted a lot about Japanese pro wrestling, so just so you know. And one more thing, I need to tell you something. You're from Franklinton, right?
My dude, yeah, I'm from Franklinton. I grew up.
That's where my mom's from. Yeah.
Hey, word. Yeah. Your mom's from Franklin. What's your family name, if you could tell me?
Warren.
Warren.
Oh, not Warren. Bickham and Bickham.
Hold on. Was I talking to you in the chat room? Because if it wasn't
a while ago, we talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, in the chat room about being from Franklinton, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. No, I didn't know it. I didn't put two and two together. Yeah, Franklinton, the Bickhams that live behind Harvey Road. I'm a Harvey, man. Talk to your mom's people. I'm a Harvey. The Harveys we go way back in Franklinton. Like we can go. I put it like this. I can go as far back as my line goes before it just cuts off. Because, you know, black folks in America, you can only go back so far. I can go back 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go back 5 generations, and they're all buried in Franklinton. So those are my people down there, man.
Yeah. It's just weird that I spent a lot of time in Franklinton. You never thought, 2 black dudes spent time in Franklinton would come together to be talking about progressive politics.
Exactly. I'm in Boston and you're in Tokyo, so we're on the other side of the world. But yeah, man, it's a spot. When are you going? Are you going back there anytime ever soon?
Probably in the next year. I'm moving. I'm actually moving back to America next week.
Oh,
you know, yeah. So after that, hopefully I'll be in the DC area. So I'll probably be stopping down by Boston. Maybe we can do an in studio thing or something.
Well, I don't know if you can really get in my studio. we'll anyway. I just told on myself, Leslie.
By the time I get down there, you're gonna have a studio.
I might have a real studio. Yeah. So I'm making it do what it do around here. Leslie, man, we got to stay in touch, man. Tell your mom to about the Harveys, and we'll connect. Franklinton, Tokyo vampires, Bernie made me white. Hashtag, it was trending, dude. You were trending over Walking Dead for about 5 minutes, but The Walking Dead is Walking Dead. The Final Four, you trended over for a few hours. You trended over Real Housewives of Atlanta for a few hours. Like, Bernie made me white was everything on yesterday. So thanks for that contribution to the conversation, man.
All right, thank you, man. And thanks to everyone who tweeted out. We did it. It wasn't just me. It wasn't my brilliance. I knew that everyone out there has experienced it. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, man, hit me up in the message room so we can talk more about Franklinton.
All right.
All right, dude. Take it easy. All right, folks. That was Leslie Lee III, Tokyo Vampires. I would